Apple is officially releasing their first ever smart speaker tomorrow, called the HomePod. And I got 3 factors about it: the good, the bad, and the ugly. As usual, when Apple products are in the pre-order stage, they usually start selling out towards the launch date. And that's exactly what happened with the HomePod. Because if you order a HomePod today, you're going to get it next week, not tomorrow. You had to order it around in January 26th, I think was the pre-order date, if I remember correctly. The video is right here. But if I remember correctly, you were supposed to pre-order it on January 26th. And if you didn't do it then, you had to wait now until next week for the first ever smart speaker from Apple. But just this past year, before the actual release date, Apple has given their products to reviewers before the actual launch date. So for example, the Apple Watch Series 3 and the iPhone X were given to reviewers days before the launch date. And that's exactly what happened with the Apple HomePod. So I'm gonna summarize the reviews in the good, the bad, and the ugly from pretty much all of the reviews. First off, before I get into anything else, the HomePod is starting at $350. I mean, I got a smart speaker right behind me, right Google? Yes, I do have a smart speaker right behind me that just cost me $30. Nowhere near the price tag of $350. Is it better than the $30 speaker? It is at some things, and then it's worse at others. And that's not really that good for a price gap that big. Forgetting everything else, the HomePod at $350 is competing with the Sonos One and the Google Home Max at around that $350 price tag. So we have to compare it to those other speakers. And this is where the good, the bad, and the ugly come from. Let's first start with something good for the HomePod. Let's shed some light on the good things that the HomePod does, because I'm sure there's a ton of criticism out there, especially when I get into the bad and the ugly. But that's a little bit later. Let me get into the good, because we could tell that Apple's audio engineering team spent a ton of time on the HomePod. Apple released some pictures on all the sound testing rooms they tested it in, and you could tell that Apple tried to make the HomePod, quote, rock your house. Because if you don't remember, Apple first talked about the HomePod back all the way in June of 2017, which is about like 8 months ago. I know it's a while from now, but that's when Apple first talked about it. And then they said the HomePod is gonna, quote, rock your house. And from all of the reviews and out of all those smart speakers, the HomePod sounds the best. And that is Apple's major goal with this smart speaker. It's not to prove that Siri is a great assistant. It's not to do anything else other than, quote, rock your house. It's supposed to be the audiophile's smart speaker to go to, the Apple HomePod. Apple did promise us one thing with the HomePod, and that was it was going to sound great and amazing compared to any other smart speaker, such as the Amazon Echo or the Google Home Max. It's going to stand out with its sound quality. Not with Siri, but with its sound quality. Especially with the 7 tweeters, the Apple made woofer, the A8 custom chip, the 6 microphones on each side. The HomePod was going to stand out with its sound quality. And the HomePod does just that. And that's why I'm saying the sound quality with the HomePod is in the good quality. At least the HomePod delivers for $350 as a high quality sounding smart speaker. Because for everything else, it's kind of slacking. But for the sound quality, it is the top of its class. Now for the bad, which we were probably all expecting. And that is that Siri is still Siri with the HomePod. And now you know that Siri isn't the best speaker. It's not really that close to the Google Assistant or Alexa. The Siri is kind of lagging behind. And with the HomePod, it's still lagging behind. Siri just isn't at the same capability as the Google Assistant. Hopefully Apple starts to upgrade her, especially since they now got a smart speaker out there. And people are actually going to start using Siri more than just using it on their phone. Now they actually have a single speaker just for Siri. And then hopefully Siri will actually start competing with the other assistants. Because right now, Siri's kind of lagging behind, and that's not good. You want the best quality assistant possible. Along with that sound quality, you want a good assistant. Imagine if the Google Assistant was paired up with the HomePod sound quality. That would probably be the perfect speaker. But for right now, it's Siri inside the HomePod. And Siri being in the HomePod is kind of a bad thing. That's why it's in the bad category right now. Not the good, not the ugly, just the bad. It could be better. It could definitely be worse. But it's still just Siri. And now let me tell you the worst part of the HomePod and the reason that many people aren't gonna buy it. And that's because of the exclusivity of the HomePod. It is locked And I mean locked in the Apple ecosystem. This is kind of a really like, Apple, why did you even have to make these choices? You let the AirPods run free. Why can't you just let the HomePod run free? I mean, it's got amazing sound quality. Just let that run free into people's homes that don't have Apple products. You don't have to lock it in the Apple ecosystem, but that is what Apple just did. There's two major reasons why Apple makes it so exclusive in the Apple ecosystem that no one else outside of the Apple ecosystem should even think about getting the HomePod. And that's one, Spotify, and two, a Bluetooth speaker. Let me explain. First off, the HomePod only runs Apple Music. That's it. It does not have Spotify as an option or any other music service. I mean, right now Spotify has around like 70 million subscribers and Apple Music only has around like 30 million. So that's around double the amount that Spotify has compared to Apple Music. I know Apple Music is growing. Yes, it's growing, of course. It's still relatively young compared to Spotify, but still, most people are on Spotify, and now they're gonna have to switch to Apple Music. People aren't gonna want to do that, and that would just make them unconsider the HomePod and go for the Google Home Max or another smart speaker instead of the HomePod because it only accepts Apple Music. Personally, I'm an Apple Music subscriber. I mean, it just works out in my whole Apple ecosystem, but still, allow the HomePod to reach Spotify subscribers. Come on, Apple, you don't have to lock it up that much. I know this is really putting down the law on you having to have Apple Music, but come on, give the people the choice. Give the power to the people. And that's what sometimes Apple doesn't do. And like I just said, there's two main reasons why Apple is locking the HomePod in its ecosystem. And second is using the HomePod as a Bluetooth speaker. The only way you could use it as a Bluetooth speaker is with AirPlay. And you know what AirPlay comes with? iOS. So you have to have an iPhone or an iPad to use the HomePod as a Bluetooth speaker. With other speakers, you could just go to Bluetooth, connect it, and then start playing your music. With the HomePod, you cannot do that. You can only do it with AirPlay, which comes only on iOS. It really stinks. I mean, Apple truly locked it up in its ecosystem, not allowing everyone to possibly enjoy the HomePod, making the audience just so slim only to the Apple ecosystem fans, which really stinks. Overall, the HomePod is not a bad speaker at all, especially just for the speaker part. It really excels in that category. But when you put the smart speaker into it, Siri is just, I mean, Siri is Siri. If you don't know what Siri could do, I mean, just look at videos. I mean, Siri versus the Google Assistant. Siri kind of stays the same with her, but I mean, the Google Assistant, especially with Google and Amazon being in this game for so long now, I mean, 2 to 3 years, right? Not that long, but still, they have more experience allowing their assistant to do more things than Siri. Siri's a fresh newbie to this smart speaker game. The ugly part about the HomePod is that not really anyone is going to be able to enjoy the HomePod because it's so locked in the Apple ecosystem. I mean, it's a great speaker, and it's just no one's ever going to really appreciate it outside the Apple ecosystem. Apple has truly locked up the HomePod. I mean, I'd love to hear your opinion in the comment section below about the Apple HomePod releasing tomorrow. Give me your thoughts down below. And while you're doing that little thing, make sure you hit that little bell icon to stay notified whenever I post a video. And while you're doing that, make sure you smash that subscribe button right here to stay informed. And I'll see you in the next one.